back growing up when you were like playing like you had 5 people and you're like, we want to play football though. So one guy's just the all-time QB for both sides. Like that's
Yeah.
Josh McCown.
So, Houston Texans. I don't know if they're trying to lose. I know Josh McCown is the coach in waiting. I like Lovie Smith. I was doing a deep dive into this team earlier. Plus 2,400 to win the division. 24-1 to win the division. You start looking at this team. All right. You have Davis Mills, the best quarterback in the 2022 NFL draft. Would have been number one overall pick. They got him last year in the second round. He's coming into his second year. He's got NFL experience. He had better numbers than Trevor Lawrence, who was the number one overall pick last year. Also, they have Brandon Cooks, a pro's pro, having a hell of a season last year, coming in, I assume with a little bit more camaraderie with Davis Mills. He's only going to get better. They have one of my favorite mid-round picks in the draft with John Mechie. I absolutely love this kid out of Alabama, dude. This dude can run every route on the route tree. He's quick. He's explosive. He doesn't have the top-end speed some of these other guys have, but he can get those 15-yard, 20-yard routes all day. Very, very explosive in and out of his cuts. Perfect for a dink and dunk type offense that they are more than capable of running. And then they have one of our favorite guys that we talked about pre-draft, and Damian Pierce coming out of the University of Florida, being able to come in and relieve for Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead. I think that three-headed monster could be absolutely phenomenal. Then you throw in their first-round pick with Derek Stingley Jr. If Derek Stingley Jr. can get back to where he was his freshman year at LSU, which is an absolute lockdown corner every day of the week, nobody could even do anything to him. Get him in with some coaching. Maybe Lovie Smith coaches him up, or somebody on that defense coaches him up. He's the type of guy who could be an All-Pro immediately. And then you have Jalen Petrie, rookie, second-round guy, immediately fills a hole from Justin Reed leaving to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he fills that hole perfectly for the Houston Texans, especially that defense they're going to want to run with that Tampa 2 style. And then you have Kenyon Green, just one of the best overall just guards in the draft, who's an absolute stud, absolute beast. I think they're going to be able to run the ball well. I think Davis Mills is going to be able to spread out the ball, take care of the football, keep his interceptions down. I think Lovie Smith's going to have this defense rolling, and I think at plus 2,400 in a very, very tough scheduled division when they are going to have the easiest schedule out of the division. I love the Houston Texans this year. I don't know what their win total is going to be. I'm going to hammer the over, and I'm going to sprinkle them to win that division because, I mean, I like a lot of the things that they have on their roster right now.
So, is it the easiest schedule? I'm not sure it is.
So, I mean, who did they get? So they're playing the AFC West, so they play everybody. They play in the NFC Beast, so they get everybody. Yeah, so their extra games that are different are Chicago, and then Cleveland, and then
Miami.
Miami.
And Miami
Miami
added
got last in the division last year? I guess so.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Or second to last, because Houston wasn't in last. Houston was in third.
Last.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jacksonville's going to have the easiest schedule. Still, I still love it, especially getting the Bears for their 17th game definitely helps because as much as I love the Bears, I just don't think this is the year they do anything.
Yeah.
I think they are building. I think they got the pieces there, but I have no faith in the Bears to have a good season this year.
The Bears aren't the reason I say it. Miami and Cleveland are the reason I say it because Cleveland's going to be a tough out if it's once Deshaun Watson's back.
I don't think Deshaun Watson plays this year.
He might not. I mean, but until we hear more, I'm assuming he's going to be back in the second half.
Another reason why I like the Texans, I think they have a lot of picks next year. I think they can afford to give up a 4th or a 5th rounder to go get Baker Mayfield if Davis Mills goes down. I think Baker Mayfield immediately makes them a better team. And if Davis Mills does go down, I think they make that trade immediately. You look at Baker's history when everybody kicks him to the curb and doubts him is when he goes and balls out. So you throw Baker Mayfield on this team week 7, maybe they're 4-3 at that point. Davis Mills goes down. Like I wouldn't want to see a Baker Mayfield team right now. Honestly,
I was about to say the same thing. A Baker who feels wronged is the best Baker.
Yeah, and with that situation going on in Cleveland, like Houston, like other than Houston just wanting to probably get their own quarterback next year in the draft because they have so much draft capital and they're gonna most likely be in a decent enough position to go do it. I think they would have already traded for Baker Mayfield. I think he makes perfect sense for this team, but I don't think they make that trade either until they're doing well and Davis Mills goes down, or they're doing well and Davis Mills is holding them back. But I do think the Texans are going to be a pretty good landing spot for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
About week 4 to week 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So another thing on the Texans, they're going to be starting probably 6 rookies this year, which makes them they could be an exciting team with that. I mean, I don't think that they're going to be a world beater, but they brought in a lot of talent, and if that talent plays up to anywhere near its potential, it could get really interesting in Houston.
If they are starting 6, 7 rookies, like some of the names, like Derek Stingley's going to start, Kenyon Green's going to start, Jalen Petre's going to start, and John Mechie's going to start. That's already 4 right there.
Christian Harris
will probably start.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce might as well be starting because I think he's going to be getting a lot of carries. So I mean, that was their first 6 picks right there, and then you look at those guys, and it's like, well, Jalen Petre's probably going to start no matter where he got drafted. John Mechie is probably going to at least be a heavy rotation guy no matter where he gets drafted.
Absolutely.
Christian Harris is probably a day 1 linebacker no matter where he gets drafted. So I mean, these guys don't have the most upside, but they're all NFL ready guys that can start day 1 for you. And sometimes those guys that maybe you don't think have the most high upside end up being like 10-year all pro guys. Like they're just very good every year. They're never going to be better than very good, but sometimes all you need to be is very good. Like
also a name to watch on their D line is Thomas Booker. He's a guy who he didn't produce like his traits said he should have. I think some of it had to do with the role that he played at Stanford. A very smart guy, very athletic guy. I could see him coming into the NFL and outproducing his draft spot pretty quick.
I'm very excited for this team.
Yeah, I think there's legit reason to be excited for this team.
I don't think the division's overly hard. I don't think Indy. I mean, I think Indy could be good. I mean, I think the AFC West or the AFC in general is going to be so hard. The fact that they play the West it helps out Tennessee and Indianapolis that everybody in the division is playing the West because, like, if not, then you would have like the top 2 teams playing the Chargers and the Chiefs, which sucks for them. But the fact that they play the entire division, it helps out those top teams a little bit. But still, I mean, I don't think Tennessee or Indianapolis is leaps and bounds better than the Texans and Jaguars.
If Davis Mills can do something.
I like Davis Mills. He was the best quarterback in this draft.
Also, one thing to note here.
I've been saying it for months.
10-1 to make the playoffs. Not even win the division, just to make the playoffs in a 17 playoff.
But you also have to factor in all 4 teams in the AFC West. And you have to factor in the Patriots and Bills and Dolphins. Super deep. 10-1. I mean, I like I'm surprised their odds are. So they have better odds to win the division than they do to make the playoffs?
No, it's 24-1 to win the division.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. But, I mean, if they don't win the division, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I could see them squeaking into a 7 seed like the Raiders last year.
Maybe. The AFC is just so freaking tough.
It is.
But maybe it's so tough, like 10 wins get you to the playoffs, and I could see them getting to 10 wins.
How many wins did the Raiders have last year? 9?
9, maybe.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the AFC got a lot better than it was last year.
Hey, all you need is a little luck, a little Charger
Yeah.
luck.
Hey, so I mean, let's say they start the season. They get Cleveland early. So I mean, Deshaun Watson's almost assuredly not starting the season.
Yeah,
So they get Cleveland early. Maybe they get Jacksonville once or twice early. Chicago, New York, and maybe like a Dallas that can always lay an egg. Texans always beat Dallas. I mean, they could start the season with the right schedule, like 6-1.
yeah. Well, and then you get the fan base excited, and every home game becomes that much more interesting.
Yeah, and then all like Chargers are always willing to drop a game. Washington football team's nothing to write home about.
Yeah,
You got Jacksonville twice, we don't know what. I mean, Doug Peterson's a very good coach, Super Bowl winner, so he may have that Jacksonville team rolling. I will see, but I mean, yeah, you just never know. And then they do have to go to Miami, but if they go to Miami early in the year. Miami early in the year is a lot easier to play than Miami late in the year, I feel like. So,
is it? I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like
I
the
mean, they
heat
play in
hits different
Houston.
early in the year.
They practice in Houston. Houston's a freaking
Yeah,
swamp.
I mean it's a swamp, but they have shade. That's the thing in Miami. You don't get any shade on the away sideline. You're just
I
baking.
I don't think it's going to really bother them too much like it does those Northeast teams.
Yeah,
But, I mean, they get Dallas on the road, which probably good for them because there's people just hate Dallas. Uh, then Vegas, I mean, the fact that they're playing Vegas in Vegas just kind of helps them out too because like Vegas doesn't really have a true home field advantage.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
very
I
true.
mean, just looking at their schedule and who and where they play, I mean, kind of best case scenario. Like I said, if they get Cleveland early in the year, like first 4 games, like Watson is not starting, and
Yeah,
I would say earliest is week 5.
yeah. I
So
would
they
even
get
say like week 7. So like I'm with you.
And then let's say they get Kansas City towards the end of the year where they're fighting for a playoff
Mhm.
berth and Kansas City has one locked up. Or the Chargers or any of those teams in the AFC West.
I'm calling it now. Lovey Smith's going to sneak in the 7th seed and then get fired.
Oh, dude, if they fired him after making the playoffs to hire Josh McCown, yeah,
That's what's happening. Josh
well,
McCown runs this organization.
yeah, I mean, but you think you saw some lawsuits about unfair racial treatment? Shit. They'll be losing their team if that happens.
It would come full circle because Lovey Smith got Josh McCown to come out of retirement back in like 2012 or 2011, something like that. I think it was
Yeah.
2011 to come play for the Bears because Jay Cutler broke his thumb. I believe
Yeah.
it was. It would come full circle.
Was it
Josh McCown to
McCown?
Lovey Smith.
Was it Josh McCown or his brother the COVID year that played for Philly? That was
It
just
was
like on.
Josh.
He was just on retainer. He was like just at home chilling and everything. And they're like,
Yeah,
if we ever need a quarterback, like they paid him like I guess he was technically on the 52-man. I don't remember how it went, but he was like not with the team, but they're like, you're such a pro's pro that like you can step in tomorrow and you're gonna be just as
yeah.
good as if you were with the team every day. And he just like sat at home and ended up he played like 2 games that year, didn't he? Or
I'm
was he
not
just
sure. I
I
think he
thought
was
he
just at
played.
home. The year before he played for the Eagles.
Okay.
He played
I,
in he got his first playoff game in.
there we go. That's what it was. But yeah, I just remember like, yeah, he's technically he's like their super emergency like backup quarterback, and I was like, he should just be the super backup emergency quarterback for the entire league. Like
Really though.
they have the replacement goalies for NHL. Like Josh McCown should just be like somewhere like central United States, like posted up in like Norman, Oklahoma, and it's like at any time like it's halftime and they have like a private jet and they're like, okay, we got to fly you to Foxborough. Like Mac Jones just went down and he's in Foxborough in like 2.5 hours. Like,
It would be great for the league. Like it just reminds me of like back growing up when you were like playing like you had 5 people and you're like, we want to play football though. So one guy's just the all-time QB for both sides. Like that's
yeah,
Josh McCown.
forever. Yeah, he should never be the coach of the Texans. But All right, that's my Texans rant. I like them a lot. Plus 2,400 to win the division. 24-1. Wouldn't sleep on it. Wouldn't sleep on it.
All right.
Tell us what we're wrong. Tell us what we're right. Tell us what you think. Let us know. Interact with the boys. And last but not least, don't sleep on the Lions.
Squad.